In this video, I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step, no BS guide to getting an aesthetic body from scratch. Okay, if you've never been on a weight loss journey, if you've never gotten abs before, this will work for you. This works for the complete beginner that's looking to get aesthetic, that's looking to get abs. Depending on what body fat percentage you're in, it might take you 6 months, might take you 3 months. Like if you're over, if you're in between 20 to 30% body fat, it could take you about 3 to 6 months max. If you follow the blueprint I'm going to be showing you. If you're over like 30% body fat, it'll take you, it depends, right, on what body fat percentage you're laying at. This works for the complete beginner, right? A lot of you guys probably don't know who I am. That's fine. My name is Adam Garrick. I'm the founder of Full Body Fight and B-Gym as well. I was featured in Silicon Valley magazine. My company's also gotten great client results over the years. You can check our client results. You can also go to my Instagram and check our client results as well. There's like 6 story highlights of client results. So over the years, I've been able to see what works and what doesn't work pertaining to fat loss techniques. And that's actually what I help my clients do one-on-one. I don't have any spots left for one-on-one consulting currently because I'm focused on other ventures. And so for that reason, I wanted to give you kind of like a step-by-step tactical plan that you can take today, implement, and actually see results in your fitness goals. And also another reason why I wanted to make this video is because, I feel like a lot of the fitness industry gatekeeps really good information because, for whatever reason, maybe they're afraid to give value away. Maybe they have a course to sell you, whatnot. And so for that reason as well, I wanted to come in, kind of give you like a no nonsense tactical game plan that you can take, that you can implement, and you can see results finally, especially if you've been stuck, you've been yo-yoing, or you don't know what to do at all. This video is going to get you very clear on the exact action steps to take to get you from, plus 40% body fat, stuck, okay, struggling, okay, yo-yoing. This marker's terrible. I need a new marker. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, stuck, struggling, yo-yoing to 12% body fat. Okay. 12% body fat. Abs. Okay. So this is my outcome for this video. And so first things first, guys, if you've been peeping my other videos, recently I've been talking a lot about mindset. And just a preface, I wanted to tell you guys, if you've been struggling with a lot of this stuff, there's a good chance that you're going to need more than just tactical advice, okay? So for that reason, I want to get you in the right mind frame to be able to receive this advice. I want you to get in a proper mind frame where you're able to properly implement and execute what I'm about to tell you, okay? So first things first, I want you to take 2 deep breaths with me. Once you've taken those 2 deep breaths, I want you to relax yourself. I want you to chill. And I want you to be in a position where you can receive this counsel, receive this implementation pathway, okay? So, boom. Now that you're relaxed, now that you're in a position to receive what I'm about to talk to you about, we're ready to get into it. So, like I said earlier, you guys have seen my previous videos where I talk about being in the proper mind state, being in the proper thinking processes, okay? Okay, having the proper beliefs. And I don't know if you guys saw the previous whiteboard video that I made called, what was it called? It was called You Will Not Lose Weight Until You Accept This Idea. If you watch that video, you'll realize that this video is primarily about mindset. Okay, it's primarily about having the right mindset, having the right thoughts, having the right belief patterns to actually make this work. Because a lot of times it depends on how you think. Okay, some people think more emotion based, some people think more logic based. Okay, so if you think more logic based, you're gonna have a hard time accepting these truths, right? But on the complete flip side, right, if you think more emotional based, right, you're going to have a hard time accepting the tactical stuff that I'm going to be talking to you about. Okay, so understand, go back and watch that video that I did first for you to receive the proper mind frame. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into that part. All right, so now that you're in a position to properly receive kind of like the mindset of getting an aesthetic physique, getting an aesthetic body, here's what we're going to do now. So we're going to go to more of the tactical things on how to actually, like, what do you need to focus on? What's first, right? I'm going to delete a lot of this stuff right here. So the next thing you have to do is focus primarily on 3 aesthetic fast track levers that I talk about in one of my videos. So at the core, the way that I break down how to lose weight, I break it down into 3 different categories. And these 3 different categories are planned energy expenditure, okay, direct energy expenditure, and indirect energy expenditure, okay? So the basis of planned energy expenditure is 3,500 calories to start, okay? Is 3,500 calories to start. Now our average client loses 8 pounds in 30 days, okay? In flight, in our one-on-one implementation program, our average client loses 8 pounds in 30 days, okay? That's the average, okay? But when you're getting started with this, I want you to at least try to lose 1 pound in a week, okay? Especially if you're not working with anybody else. If you're just watching this video and you're gonna implement this on your own, I would definitely make it a goal to figure out what your maintenance calories are, okay? An easy way to figure that out is you can use fatcalc.com, okay, to figure out your maintenance calories. Figure out your maintenance calories and just subtract 500 per day, okay? 500 per day from this number right here. And then you should see some type of improvement. Now, here's why we have these other pillars right here, is because when you simply just do planned energy expenditure, your metabolism gets used to that, okay, over time, and then boom, it becomes less effective. And it actually goes back to the law of diminishing returns. I'm back with the black marker because these, some of these markers, just none of them are that great, but the black one seems to be a little bit better. So anyways, the law of diminishing returns, okay? Diminishing returns, okay? The law of diminishing returns, meaning an action taken will become less effective over time. And so that's what planned energy expenditure kind of does over time. It becomes less effective, especially after the first 30 to 60 days, okay? So now we've covered planned energy expenditure, let's go to direct energy expenditure, okay? So I tell all my clients, direct energy expenditure, what that is at the core is doing anything that is directly correlated to losing fat, right? Directly correlated to, boom, moving, directly correlated to doing some type of energy that exerts, because it's scientifically proven. When you move, you burn fat, right? When you move, your body exerts energy, and that energy is literally fat right there. You know what I'm saying? It can be fat, but your energy, you're moving and you're losing energy, around your body, right? So direct energy expenditure allows you to predictably get results, okay? It complements indirect energy expenditure. I'll go over that in a second, but you can predictably get results, okay? So if you have a 3-day work week, the average, like I told you, our average one-on-one weight loss client at Flight loses 8 pounds in 30 days, okay? That's the average, okay? 8 pounds in 30 days, okay? What do you think the average day that they're working out is? The average day that a Flight member works out is 3 days per week, okay? Okay, and so you might be working out 3 days per week. You might be working out 4 days per week. You might be working out 5 days per week, okay? And then you're like, Adam, what the hell? I'm not losing any weight, right? I'm at a plateau. okay? Have you heard of the 80-20 rule, okay? The Pareto principle, okay? The 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule just basically says that 20% of your inputs, okay? 20% of your inputs are gonna lead to 80% of your outputs, okay? Okay, but what's the problem right here? So you ask yourself, Adam, I've been working out. I go to the gym 5 days per week, right? I'm waking up at 5 a.m., blah, 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 all this and that. Here's the thing. And by the way, this is the reason why I created VGym. Link below, we're closed right now. We're on a wait list. You can fill out the wait list, but essentially it saves you 2 hours per day on your fit goals, on your direct energy expenditure, okay? It saves you 2 hours per day. And this is my whole philosophy. This is why our clients get such great results, right? Is because we focus on the 20% of inputs that lead to 80% of the outputs. Okay, but most of you guys right now are probably focused on the 80% of outputs. Right? Here's a lot of you guys are doing this, and here's a problem of why you can't lose weight, right? Or why you've been stuck physique-wise is because you're focusing on the 80% of things that only provide 20% of impact. Okay? And that's the problem right there, is because a lot of people are focused on this right here, and this is fail, okay? This is why you fail, okay? But when you can, because if you are in this mind frame right here, because our minds and how society kind of programs us is to think that, oh, if I'm going to the gym 5 days a week, if I'm working hard, then, you know, that's all that matters, right? Society has conditioned us to think that our hard work, just purely hard work, mindless hard work, leads to lasting effort when it actually doesn't, okay? It's the 20% of smart inputs, okay? The 20% of smart inputs are gonna lead to 80% of the outputs. This is when direct energy expenditure leads to indirect energy expenditure, right? Indirect energy expenditure, okay? If you wanna go deeper on a certain subject, you can DM me on Instagram and I'll actually take you to the Telegram chat that has 70 meal plans in it. And I actually, in the Telegram chat, I go way deeper, okay, on these topics, okay? If you have any questions about anything we're talking about here, DM me on Instagram, okay? And we can go deeper on these topics. I can send you the free Telegram, or I can give you whatever resources that you need based on your specific situation. I'm all about getting specifics, okay? Everybody has their own philosophy, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna know what works for you until you dig into who you are. What are your tics, right? What do you respond to positively? What does your body respond to negatively? Stuff like that. So that's where personalization comes into play, and where personalization is extremely important when you're trying to get an aesthetic body, when you're trying to get down to 12% body fat, okay? I want you to focus from now on, what are the 20% of inputs that will lead to 80% of your outputs? A lot of that is just not getting burned out, okay? A lot of that is just not getting burned out. And focus in on the actual things that are gonna move the needle for you, okay? So, focus on your direct energy, okay? When you focus on your direct energy, oh my goodness. When you focus on your direct energy, okay? Like, working out 3 days per week. Working out 3 days per week, okay? When you focus on strength training rather than just purely cardio. Most of our clients don't even do cardio at all. It's mostly strength training, because strength training actually supports indirect energy expenditure, okay? Burning calories in a resting state. This actually supports indirect energy expenditure, okay? Understand resting metabolic rate. Okay, I spelled that terrible. Okay, but understand resting metabolic rate. Okay, and that this direct energy expenditure, strength training, results in calories burnt in a resting state, something cardio cannot do for you. Okay, so you need to figure out strength training. Okay, and if you have any questions about that, if you want workout plans, whatever the case may be, you can DM me on Instagram and I got you. Okay. Especially since the one-on-one program is closed right now, I can definitely help you out and send you on your way with some resources right there. But you need to understand the correlation between direct energy expenditure and indirect energy expenditure right there. Okay, so now that we got the energy expenditure pillars out of the way, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to be successful and to actually track metrics accurately in your weight loss journey. So things that you need that you can actually just get on Amazon right now. And by the way, guys, everything I'm telling you is something that I've proven to work over all of the clients that we've worked with at Full Body Flight, and all of the client results and all the impact that we've gotten over the years. This has been proven, this has been tested to work. So next thing I really want you to take into account, and that's why I erased everything else, is I want you to really take into account having belief in yourself, okay? And this is why I told you I want you to focus, all right? And I want you to take another 2 deep breaths on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath 1. Deep breath 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And I just wanted you to chill out one more time, okay? Because I want you to really dwell on belief, okay? Because I want you to understand, guys, I really want you to dwell on your environment and how environment cultivates belief. Okay, they complement each other very nicely. Okay, environment and belief. Okay, a lot of you guys are in environments that don't support you, are in environments that are like hindering your success, right? Because you're listening to potentially a family member, potentially a roommate, a spouse, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend that's telling you, yo, this isn't meant for us. Okay, but the number one thing I want you to realize is it all comes down to belief, the most important thing. Okay, the most important thing is belief in yourself. Okay, you need to have belief in yourself, and you need to tune out all of the people that are saying you can't do this, because that's the only way this works. Just going forward, okay? I know I went through some tactical stuff, and I'm going to go through in a second what you actually need. Sometimes some of you guys might be watching this and be like, Adam, oh my God, you're talking about more mindset. Okay, but chill out. I'm going to go through more tactical stuff in a second, but I just wanted to tell you, none of this works unless you have belief in yourself, and unless you're in the proper environment that allows you to succeed, okay? If you're in an environment physically that doesn't allow you to succeed, then I want you to go and find online groups, okay, of people doing the same thing as you, okay? For example, VGym down below. If you do the wait list, if you fill out the wait list, okay? Live coaching, live access. It's a group of people that are getting down to 12% body fat in real time. And it's a group of people that are also together live. VGym is the first live gym on the internet, okay? People are saving 2 hours per day on their fit goals. They're saving 312 hours per year on their fit goals, okay? What can 312 hours get you? I really want you to think about that, all right? Fill out the wait list down below, okay, for VGym, and fix your environment, okay, which will in turn allow you to have belief in yourself, okay? Because you'll see other people actually succeeding, if that makes sense, right? So I want you to have belief in yourself. It's the most important action step to take into account, okay? All right, so next thing, so these are the most important terms. What do you actually need in order to make this a successful journey, okay? This is what all of our clients do to help them get aesthetic physiques, okay? So here's what you need, okay? So here are kind of ingredients for success. Here's what I'm gonna call this, okay? I'm gonna call this ingredients for success, okay? Okay, so we already talked about body fat percentage, okay? We already talked about that. I already talked about that with you, okay? You need skin fold calipers for that, okay? You can easily get those on Amazon. Next thing, okay? You need to have something on paper that's tracking everything you're doing, okay? So on paper, okay, you need to know metrics, okay? You need to track certain things in your life, okay? A lot of times, like, people are like, oh, I can't lose weight. Oh, I can't lose weight. And then I'll ask, hey, what are you tracking? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing that? And you're like, oh no. I'm like, no wonder you haven't lost any weight, bro. Because you're not tracking anything, okay? You need to snap out of it, okay? And you need to track, all right? You need to listen and track metrics in your life, bro. And if you can't get yourself to do that, you need to find someone who can, okay? You need to get in communities that allow you to experience growth, okay? So metrics are extremely important, okay? How do you track metrics, okay? MyFitnessPal, okay? That's how you track your metrics right there. Next thing you need is a body weight scale, okay? And look, I understand some people are like, oh, you don't want to get too crazy about it. You know, oh, you're going to stress yourself out. Well, here's the thing, guys. When it comes to actual results, okay, getting results is directly correlated with tracking metrics, okay? It's tracking KPIs. You need to track metrics, okay? You need to track KPIs, okay? So that you can understand this is not emotional, okay? This is purely logic, okay? Like I acknowledge there is an emotional side of things, but you need to also pay attention to the logical side of things, okay? Results are everything, okay? Metrics, KPIs, okay? So you need a body weight scale, okay? And guys, if you feel self-conscious about yourself, if you're like, oh my God, if you don't know how to think, this is why I stress all the time. Get someone to help you think correctly. Get someone to help you make the right decisions at the right time. Get you someone that can actually improve your self-image of yourself, okay? It's all about finding the right person to help you grow, okay? And I'm here for you, okay? If you have any questions, reach out to my Instagram page, all right? The link is down below to my Instagram, okay? Where you can ask me any type of questions and we can figure out how we can help you get into those groups, get into those networks to help you actually thrive this time, okay? Because that's the reason why you haven't been able to succeed. Just like we said before, it's belief. Belief is the reason why you haven't been able to succeed, and your environment is the reason why you haven't been able to succeed. Okay, so take those right action steps. I want you to do that right now. Okay, anyways, results are really important. Okay, so you need that body weight scale. You need MyFitnessPal, Skinfold calipers. Okay, and then I also recommend beginners get a pair of dumbbells. Okay, dumbbells. Okay, because dumbbells will. All right, so dumbbells are going to allow you to, I know that's not the best picture, but stay with me. You know, dumbbells are going to allow you to get that workout in a way that's very expendable, right? So, you know, same way you could do body weight squats with a dumbbell. You could add 10 pounds, and boom, get that extra resistance so you can burn calories in a resting state, right? And then also you can burn muscle that will allow you to burn calories in a resting state. Okay, so that's why you want to really use dumbbells and like other strength resistance equipment so that you can get that workout in and then speed up your metabolism, burn calories, all right, and then make things, that's the direct energy expenditure. And that's how indirect energy expenditure and direct energy expenditure meet, because you put in direct input, okay? You put in direct input and then you get way more output for what you put in, right? You get way more output for what you put in. And that's the essence of direct energy expenditure and indirect energy expenditure. All right, so next thing you need to do is, we need to figure out what nutrients we need in our bodies, okay? So once we figure out what nutrients, because here's a reason why, you know, for example, you might, you know, eat and then be hungry the next hour, be hungry the next hour, is because the food that you're eating on a daily basis is not giving you the nutrients that you need to be successful, to like be mentally sharp, you know, to feel your best, whatever the case may be. It's because the food you're eating has little to no nutrients in it, okay? So then you ask, how do I feel full, right? How do I get to a state where I'm actually full, okay? And if I can get this marker off, there we go. So how do you get to a point where you're actually full, okay? And this goes into nutrients, okay? Nutrients, all right? And the way nutrients work is, okay, yeah, you could take a multivitamin, right? But the thing about that is, when you have a lot of these vitamins working in conjunction with each other, it will cancel some of them out or make some of them less effective. Okay, so that's why I steer clear of like multivitamins, and I go more for organic compounds. Okay, and this goes into just eating whole foods, right? Okay, or take organic whole food supplements. Okay, if you want a list of like all my recommended nutrients that I take on an everyday basis, feel free to DM me on Instagram, and I can send you the entire document on like what nutrients you're missing and all that good stuff, so you can really dial this aspect in. But you need to really understand nutrients, okay? And the better quality of nutrients you get, the more energy you're going to have, the more mentally sharp you're going to feel, et cetera, et cetera. So really pay attention to nutrients right there. Next thing you want to do is you want to have systems in play. Okay. And a lot of times people screw this up because they don't have any systems, right? They're like, oh, I can't lose weight. Oh, I can't lose weight. Right. But you don't have any systems. So how do you really understand systems? Okay. This marker sucks. All right. Let me get another marker right here. So we're talking systems. So what I recommend you do, okay, is, well, obviously you're not going to solve the accountability part. Okay. You're not going to solve the accountability part unless you hop into VGym, which you're not going to find like a public VGym link. You can't just buy VGym. All right. I want to make sure that every single person that signs up, it's extremely cheap to be in VGym, by the way, but I want to make sure that every person that signs up is the perfect fit for it. So that's why there's no public link to VGym, right? But if you go down below, you'll find links that you can get to VGym, right, in due time. But you're not going to solve the accountability aspect of things, all right? Which was why people pay coaches, right? Which is why people go to the gym, right? To get that accountability, okay? So you're not going to solve the accountability, right? But it's extremely important, right? So if you don't like me, right, you can go to someone else that is going to actually help you stay on the path and keep you accountable, okay? So that's the most important thing. I just want to tell you straight up right there. All right, accountability is the most important part. But this is where systems of procedure come into place, or SOPs. Okay, what you need to do is, what I recommend is color code your events. We have a certain way we do this in my program. I'm not going to go too deep into it. It'll take me years. But what I want you to do is color code your Google Calendar, okay? Or you could use Apple Calendar, or you could use an app called Sorted. Great as well. But I recommend all my clients just use Google Calendar, okay, and color code. Okay, so let's just say, for example, you work out 3 days per week, okay? You work out 3 days per week, 3-day workout per week, okay? And then let's just say you color code these green, okay? And then let's just say, tracking your food, okay, in MyFitnessPal, okay, you label that red, and you do 3 notifications per week, okay? Notifications per week to track your food in your MyFitnessPal, okay? And then hit 3 days per week. So you label that green, you label that red, okay? And then whatever new habits you're trying to instill in your life, you're gonna wanna color code them, right? Boom, boom, okay? And then have reminders there, remind me to track 3 times per day, okay? Boom, track, boom, okay? All right, and then boom. And this should keep you accountable to the promise that you set to yourself, okay? And the way that this works, okay, the way that this even works is if you have, okay, not the SOP for this one, but if you have a vision, okay? You have a vision you set out for yourself, okay? So if you have a vision you set out for yourself, like, why are you actually doing this, okay? Why are you actually doing this, all right? Is it because of something someone said a long time ago and you want to prove them wrong, okay? Something someone said, all right? You just feel like you're not getting enough, respect in your life, at your job, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whatever the case may be. All right, so if you got value from the video, I want you to subscribe to the channel, comment any questions, comments, concerns you have about the video, and also as well, I want you to DM me on Instagram. Tell me what you think about the video, okay? Tell me what you're going to change, how you're going to implement what we talked about in this video. Remember, it's all about accountability. You need a person or you need a group that's going to hold you by the hand and make sure that you're doing all of these tasks correctly. I'll talk to you soon.